Hello, my name is Faustinus Advent Kristanto. I'm from SMPN 212 Jakarta. Now I want to read my essay about microcredential scholarship, especially in numeracy area. It is from Monash University, Australia. Numeracy has become one of the abilities or indicators currently emphasized in school education. Numeracy allows theoretical mathematical knowledge to be practically utilized for human needs in their daily lives. This is also related to my responsibility and challenge as a mathematics teacher to make mathematics more realistic and acceptable to students using language appropriate for their age. As a teacher, I have read and studied various types of numeracy problem models, especially those found in the Assessment National or AN materials for grade 8 junior high school. After students complete the numeracy test, I asked some of them about their experience. They expressed that the questions were difficult, with lengthy readings, complicated, and required long calculations. Students still tend hurriedly read the question in detail from top to bottom. Based on the report from SMPN 212 Jakarta Education accessed at the Report Pendidikan website, in the previous year, the literary skills of SMPN 212 Jakarta students decreased by 9.76% from the previous year, and numeracy skills were still at 68.89%. The education report data also indicates that only 40% to 70% of the students achieve the minimum competence level in numeracy, and it is hoped that more students can reach the minimum competence. This result aligned with what students expressed during short interviews after completing the numeracy AN questions. I have attended several numeracy training sessions organized by the school or platform PMM application, but I haven't yet found a suitable way to familiarize students with solving numeracy problems, especially those related to daily life or contextual issues. One of the methods I currently use to enhance the students' numeracy are through problem-based learning and differentiated learning. During this lesson, students were very enthusiastic about working together in the groups to solve problems. They actively participated in answering questions, creating presentation materials, and presenting the result of their discussions. However, when formative assessment on how material was conducted, many students haven't met the learning objective criteria. The types of questions I provide were real-life application problems. This motivates me participation in this small micro-credential scholarship from Monash University. I try to find another perspective on numeracy learning, but such as from the perspective of international curriculum learning or how to instill numeracy habits to students so they are accustomed to critically reading numerical information and thinking logically in problem solving. Based on my background in participating in numeracy programs above, I strongly desire for students to become accustomed to critical and logical thinking in decision making. Numeracy is not just about learning mathematics and answering questions. I hope that students can use this numeracy habit to solve the problem in their daily lives. Some examples of applying numeracy students' lives in the future include being able to calculate the cost of necessity. With numeracy skill, students can learn to calculate the cost needed to fulfill a requirement. Mathematical topic involved here include social arithmetic. When students want to buy an item in a certain price, they must save money for a certain period, or the application of equivalent and reciprocal values. I once interviewed grade students about how they solve comparison or ratio problems. They say they memorize the formula and principle of the unknown noun and the times the noun. They acquired these formulas and principles when they were in elementary school. In my opinion, this inhibits students' thinking ability and logical reasoning when calculating equivalent and reciprocal values. It is no wonder that comparison is a mathematical topic students to find difficult when they are in grade 7. Apart from various story problem formats, they are forced to memorize formulas without knowing when to use them. Another application of numeracy is determining the appropriate time. This can be seen in a scenario where each person has 24 hours and a day to engage in various activities. Students use time for studying, resting, and playing. By understanding the correct counting concept, students can determine when they to do what, without neglecting other activities. In addition, when I taught grade 7 students about the topic of quadrilateral plane figures, such as rectangle and squares, students tend to stick to the formula for rectangle and squares. When asked about the formula for area and perimeter, they memorize them. But when asked where these formulas come from, they answer, "From somewhere, I do not know." I assume they only memorize the formulas without understanding the meaning and how these formulas are derived. This is evident when students solve problems involving the area and perimeter of combined square and rectangular shapes. When they calculate the area, perimeter, and rectangular and square shapes, they can easily do so. However, when given a problem involving the combined rectangles and squares, they start to struggle and ask about the formulas. Based on this, I began to guide and provide some enlightenment that formula they use are standard and cannot be applied directly. We need to manually calculate how it changes when the shape changes. I applied the above learning experience to students when teaching mathematics at school. At the time, I encouraged students to calculate the area of the schools, the area of L-shaped classroom, the area of garden, and the area of the school staircase cross-section, and so on. Based on this, students realized that formulas only help temporarily for one concept only. But in daily life, we encounter problems beyond what we are accustomed to doing. Therefore, students must be critical, logical, creative in solving the problems. Since then, students no longer need to memorize formulas but must know where and when the formulas can be used to solve the problems.